art is not free. Maybe coming here from New York and Los Angeles and other areas, one thing that has struck me about Austin is a lot of people think that they should get their art free. And in the outskirts of Austin, in Lakeway, they think it should be free with a glass of wine. And, the idea of art, I think artists are just as guilty. We tend to think of ourselves as, oh, poor me, and we're not as good as somebody's feeding the hungry. And there's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot of truth in certain ways, but I think we create this atmosphere of, well, you like it, I'll give it to you, or you want to see it, I won't charge you because I want people to come out and see it. And cities and municipalities supporting that cultural concept, I think, is actually a disservice. We're doing a disservice to ourselves whenever we think that way, and I think anyone who promotes free art all the time, I think it's actually doing a disservice. I wish everybody would understand that even if you're doing free art in a park somewhere, that you still should, everybody should be expected to pay something. It just gives it a value, even if it's 50 cents. There's a value, a tangible value. People come and they think, oh, I don't have to pay for this, but meanwhile, I spent $250,000 to produce it. Why shouldn't you, if you enjoyed it, pay for it? It has great value. And I think we need to boost the perception that art is a valuable commodity.
I would actually repeat that. I think we were told not to echo each other's sentiments, but and that artists are taxpayers if they earn enough money. They shouldn't be taxpayers. They are consumers of healthcare, of transportation, of housing. They contribute to society, not just creatively with the gifts that they have, but monetarily and financially. It is an employment. It's a passion, but it's an employment, and it deserves the kind of funding that everybody else negotiates for, well beyond minimum wage, the cost of living, et cetera. It deserves to have a paycheck.
There's a woman named Markuson who's done some interesting studies on artists in cities and artists in communities. And in fact, the fact is that artists, by and large, there's 36% of artists are self-employed. 8% of every other group is self-employed. It's a very high rate of self-employment. It's worth investing in. And in most cities, there's a lot of money spent in cultural tourism to try to bring people from out of town. But really the stats are, if the same amount of money were spent in trying to get local people right there to enjoy the arts in front of them, there would be a bigger return. So I know this is not popular with maybe NACPB, but they're both important, but we have such an emphasis in funding. What are you doing to attract tourists? But in fact, what are you doing to get the local people to enjoy what you have right in front of you? And I second what he says about artists need to earn a living. When people, I can't tell you how many people call up Austin Circle of Theaters and say, we're doing an event and we need some people to dress up as monkeys. And it'll just be so much fun.
We're doing that in November.
Who would like them? Do you know anybody? Can you get 3 people to be monkeys for us? And it's like, well, what will you pay? Oh, well, I mean, we'll get them food. Really? Would you do that to an accountant? Oh, we want 3 accountants. They'll just have so much fun crunching those numbers. I mean, what is that? I don't know what that mindset is. That mindset definitely needs to change.